Welcome to the stream. It's a weekend. What better possible time to do tarot readings? But I thought I would do an I Ching, just to throw a curveball into the loop thing. I mean, not the whole thing, but just an I Ching reading just here and there. I like to do those. In fact, I was doing I Ching and reading the classic book about the I Ching before I did tarot. Long time ago. I read that Wilhelm book. It's a classic I Ching English translation. I think it was done like in the 50s or 60s. And so anyway, I read that. I read it cover to cover. It was fun. And I find that it's interesting. I like throwing the coins. I have done the stalks also, where you have the sticks, and you throw them in a pile. But the stick one gets a little tiring. It's a more involved. The coins are really a better way to go. However, when you do something like these oracle things, even tarot, sometimes you want to do the involved, longer process that involves a lot of tactile impression, sticks and the counting of them and the bundles of them in your hand. And it sort of gives you a nice feeling of, it makes the reading sort of solid somehow. It brings it into the real world more. And that's sort of what's great also about tarot decks. Like, I kind of wish with my tarot deck that it were more worn. Like these cards, I wish they were more worn. I hate to wear them out, but I kind of like tarot decks that are old and battered, It's just a nice feel. So anyway, that's just a personal thing. Well, what isn't personal with tarot? It's all personal things. Today, the podcast went up. It's actually on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. It started its first episode today. I'm just very happy about that, because I was talking the other day about how easy it's gotten to put together, technically, the podcast, to find the place, the host, and they provide this service where they make it easy to publish. They make it easy to get everything, your episodes registered out there with the various podcast listers, like Google has a podcast service, Apple, of course, which is really probably the best one. It's so nice when you go like on an iPad or something, or on your phone, if it's an iPhone. Their podcast app is really slick and simple, and you just press play. It's just really easy. I'm sure Google's is just as good. I just haven't used it, but I did make sure the podcast goes up there. But so the podcast is actually, it's tarot. It's talk about tarot, but it's also readings. The first episode is just talk about tarot. It's my talk I was doing about my sort of analysis, so to speak, my personal impressions of the Fool card. That's episode number 1. And I said, I'd be doing it on a bi-weekly basis. I think probably I'll, at least in the near future, be cranking out a little bit more than that, a little more frequently than that. It'll probably be once a week, maybe even more than once a week, because I'm sort of getting into the the ground, the grind of it. Like let's get moving. Let's crank the gears. So, oh, who do I have here? Hi, Kaylee. Kaylee, how are you? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do my I Ching yet because you have gotten yourself in the queue, and the point here, the main point is to do tarot readings, and here you are. I just looked over because I have a screen over here with the chat on it, and then right in front of me, I have another screen. And so I have to keep remembering, oh, wait, look over here to make sure somebody's not trying to say something. So, okay. So let me get you. Okay. You're up. So, Kylie, you can ask your question, and I'm going to reach right over here to the cards. Right there. And I'm going to start shuffling. So you go ahead and think about what it is you want to sort of look into with the tarot. You're going to be millionaire and successful. These are good things to want to be and know you're going to be. You want to see what the cards say on financial life. Ha ha. Okay, the cards can sort of give you, the cards basically say they don't give you financial decision making. They don't tell you what to do because that would be, they don't say, oh, go and put your money here or put your money there or spend your money on this or give your money to so-and-so or invest in this, or they don't do that. They just sort of give you general insight into ways you can kind of consider things and from different angles, and parts of you that you have and are there and that you can sort of access a little bit better after a tarot reading. In other words, a tarot reading kind of gives you a boost of inspiration in order to see things more clearly so that you know kind of what you have to do to prepare yourself for this goal you have. You seem to me that you have a very large goal that is not a short-term goal. It's a goal where you're saying, this is my big long-term goal. This is where I want to be as a general, as a life achievement. I want to get there, and obviously nobody wants to be a millionaire later. They want to be a millionaire soon, clearly. But in a general sense, a goal like that is a very major one that you kind of, going in, being a realistic person and, having any kind of a job. And that these things don't always happen fast. You know that already. There are lots of stories that people have about suddenly getting super wealthy, and those are great stories, but they are very much the exception. Tarot won't tell you how to do anything fast. It won't tell you, it's not going to tell you how to do something, but it'll give you what are called insights. And these will sort of, it's like it's like when you're having coffee with a friend and you're talking about a difficult subject and the friend says something. And maybe even at the time, you don't even really understand quite what they said. It's sort of maybe a bus went by and you kind of almost half heard them. But then 2 days later, their remark comes into your head again, and you're like, oh, what did she mean by that? And you keep wondering, and then you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I think she has a really good point. It's kind of, tarot works like that. All right. So, Kylie, I am just about finished. I've been shuffling the whole time I've been talking. So here we are I'm going to basically cut the deck a few times here. And then I'm going to take the 3 cards off the top. Kylie, we've got cards that the first impression they give to me is that they are relatively short term. They are they're number cards. And what that means is they're focused on things you can do in the immediate future and present. They're very, very much now focused, and their effects don't linger for a long time. So what the reading is suggesting is that, well, this question that you have about your financial life, the reading is bringing you into the present era. In other words, the next few weeks, the next couple of months, these are not giving you a huge overall deep-rooted thing. They're saying that these circumstances are things that you can consider. They're very malleable. They're changeable, depending on very small things that you do. These ways that you may think through this subject can alter itself very easily if you make tiny shifts. That's why these are all number cards. Now, we're starting out with a reversal, the 3 of swords. So you've got 2 swords here, sandwiching a cups. So it's sort of like the mind and your thought process and everything you believe, and even and struggle and conflict, that kind of thing. Anything you're having difficulty with and trying to resolve, primarily through your intellect. Those 2 things are on the left and right of your heart and what you love, what your actual feelings are about all of this or about what you do. And let's talk about this reversal now. The 3 is your ability to put your thinking into action, okay? You can be very smart. You can have all kinds of great ideas, but you run into sometimes periods of sort of where you feel a little stuck, you feel a little hampered, and you don't really know why. Maybe you've been planning and you're having a hard time getting out of the planning stage into the burst out into action. Like you want this new job, you're not sure that you're ready for the interview yet. So you kind of look around and you read and you're like, I don't know if I'm quite ready. So you're pausing at the door of taking the step out into the world of the market, so to speak, since we're sort of talking in the financial realm here. And it's nothing critical because these are number cards. These are short-term issues. It just means that maybe recently there's been a little bit of just a pause in putting what you know you can do, or you should do, and putting that into action. Now, also, because this card is on the left, it means that you're kind of ready to get past that. It's kind of receding into the past. You see what I mean? So you're going to step now forward to this card, which is saying, I am the center of the issue here. And the center of the issue is an 8 of cups. And as I said, the cups are everything you feel everything you want, the way want affects your emotions, your heart. It's being able to know your heart. It's also, because of the cup symbol, it's your ability to receive and absorb, to accept things as they are, to let things penetrate. It's a water symbol. You've got swords on the left, which is much of an air symbol, very rapid, cutting through. That's why it's a sword symbol. And it has to do with penetrating thought. Whereas the cups are the opposite sort of, they're very receptive, permeable, and how you open your heart. Now, 8s are a fantastic number because they represent this kind of a balance. They're the number that says you're doing what you need to do. You're putting the effort in. More is required. A consistent maintaining of that effort is required here. Don't drop it. Don't waffle. Don't shirk your duties. Don't let weakness, don't let your intellectual hesitation here on the left that you're getting away from, don't let that influence your love for what it is you want, your passion for it, and don't let it close you down. Excuse me, don't let it close you down to being open to new experience, new possibilities, and the feelings that go along with what you're trying to do. Stay receptive, stay open, and maintain the balance. The 8 indicates, because it's right side up, that you are right there and you're able to keep things in play, spinning around, so to speak, like a pinwheel of color in perfect balance. You see, that's kind of what the 8 is all about. This perfection of balance and beautiful symmetry and the ability to put all of your effort, all of your love for what you do into this work, into this goal, and keep various elements that may even be in conflict, but you can keep them in balance because of your innate abilities. Now, look at the incredible magic that's hinted at by the next card, which says basically, you've done it. You've opened your heart. You've maintained your love for what you want to do. You've said, I want to follow my heart. So if I want to be a millionaire, I'm going to do it in this way, doing something I truly love. And it's saying, if that is the case, then suddenly the Ace of Swords appears and it is not reversed. And the Ace of Swords basically goes back and corrects all of this stoppage back here. And it basically says, okay, I have absolutely infinite potential and energy here. And most of that is because of my brain. I am able to use what I know to gain what it is that I most want. I've followed my heart. I have been open to new possibilities. I have been open to experiencing all the feelings, ups and downs that come with pursuing my goal. And because of all of that, and that openness to new things that I have decided to adopt, I achieve this enormous reservoir of potential Now, this not only means because for my brain, for my intellect, and the ideas that I'm going to use to make a success for my goal, but it also indicates that I'm able to resolve all sorts of problems along the way, conflicts, arguments with business partners, employees, or people in other companies, or other creative people. I'm able to use negotiation. I'm able to use discussion. I'm able to perform brilliantly in meetings. I'm able to keep all of these balls in the air balanced because of this 8. I'm able to maintain my love for my work. Nothing throws me from that, even if it's just a crappy day and I'm in a big battle with some business person. I am still loving every second of it because the 8 of cups, it just won't let me not like every minute of my day. And then this is there constantly, sort of as my companion, you know, to say that I can resolve any problem, any crisis, anything, because I've got this enormous built up store of skills, knowledge, experience, and just plain and simple ability to deal with anything that's thrown at me. And that's where this reading is going for you. And so that is the general impression that the cards in this random pulling of the universe on this one particular night, in this very small moment of time, suggests to you via this little chat thing. You know, here's the thing I always tell people about tarot. 78 cards. Any 78 things that you mix up and sort create a number of possible arrangements of all these cards in the pile called 78 factorial. 78 factorial is a number understood by scientists and mathematicians. And they also know that that number is larger than the number of atoms contained in our galaxy, which means that every shuffle of the deck that you do, the arrangement, that particular arrangement of which card follows which card, you know, if you lay them out, has never existed in all of history before and will never exist again, because the odds are too slim. If there are more possible combinations than atoms in the galaxy, that's trillions and trillions and trillions. You see what I'm saying? That's why tarot is magic. That's it. So you come and you ask something, and this reading happens, and it's like, well, how can that possibly mean anything? Well, think about those numbers and how unique this little situation with the cards in this particular moment in time out of your entire life. Just think about that and what the cards have just said. So remember that how this develops and how the trajectory, the positive sort of moving from whatever little crisis has maybe held you up, moving through, as long as you follow your heart. The card is saying you got to follow your heart. You have no idea how important that is. There are some people who don't. There are some people who become super wealthy and they don't even care. They just kind of stumble and accidentally something happens and boom, they have $20 million in their bank account and they're driving Ferraris and Maseratis around and they didn't really do anything. It happens every day. But there are the other people who get there by really following their heart and deciding to do what they actually love. And it's possible you're one of them. That's what the cards are saying. Try that. They're saying follow your heart, and man, you have no idea how powerful this is going to be. And because they're number cards, they're saying, hey man, you can start kind of approaching your inner life for your goal this way right away. And that's really interesting. So I hope that gives you some, you know, a big plate of food for thought. You know, it's it's funny you say that because I actually do box. It's so funny. That's so funny. You're talking like a boxer now, okay? In fact, just this morning I was at the gym. Working out, doing it. I was actually boxing this morning. It's so funny. Nobody's ever used a boxing metaphor during a tarot reading before. Oh yeah. It's really good for you. And it's not good to get hit. It's never good for anyone to get hit. But the workouts and stuff and all the movement, they're really good. Yeah. So yeah, remember, remember that Ace of Swords, man. That that is a good card, I must say. I like that one. The swords always kind of get me a little, I'm always like nervous at first. Well, you know what? What these cards are telling you is, yeah, you may make bad decisions. The cards are aware of, they know that. Everybody who gets to where you're going makes bad decisions along the way. Nobody makes everything a good decision. You don't make all good decisions on a work day. You might start working at 9 in the morning, and you may make a bad decision at 9:05 and another one at 9:20, and you're like, and and then you fix it or whatever, and then you make a really good decision at 11. That's how everything goes. And the cards are saying, look, the primary thing isn't whether or not you make mistakes. It's that you know that you're following your heart and you're actually enjoying what you're doing, and you keep reminding yourself of that. And B, you know that you have the mental capacity and skill to handle these problems. That's what the Ace of Swords represents. The Ace of Swords is that enormous power to concentrate and to resolve and solve, to figure out, to win. That's why it's a sword. You resolve conflicts, but not only that, it's a sword because you don't always just resolve conflicts. You win them. There are some conflicts that you can't resolve. You just either have to give up and lose or win them. And that's what that card is. So it's really a very direct statement about your ability to succeed. Yeah. Oh, good. That's good because, look, to have a goal like this is a big thing. And some people, if you have a goal like that, you might tell someone, and you can run into a lot of you can get teased. People get, they're like, they, you know how it is with people. They get jealous, they get, competitive, even if they're friends, and sometimes maybe not necessarily your very, very best friend, but even then sometimes, even like a sibling, you can have competitive feelings with. So you get, having a dream like that or a goal, sometimes you don't want to always say it to people. You're more comfortable saying it to someone, getting a tarot reading, of course. But it's important to kind of have, let's say, let's say all the cards had come out really negative somehow, although no tarot reading is ever really negative. Tarot readings show you possibilities and ways to kind of think about getting around those problems, But let's say it was a much more negative reading. And the thing is, if you have a goal like that, because the cards aren't going to say, "Oh, you're not going to get your goal." They're gonna say something more like, "Well, it's going to be really hard, and you might have some problem, like you maybe you don't know what you want to do at all, and you'd have to fix that first, and that'll take a while," stuff like that. But in general, when somebody has a goal like yours, it's much better to find what the tarot is saying that gives the goal all of its inherent possibility, and to make the goal achievable for the person. Because these goals, look, I live in a place where I see people, and I've known people who do this, who get to where you're going. And, it's done. It's done all the time. And anyone who says you can't do it is actually a fool. So just remember that. Anyone who doesn't support your goal in that is being foolish. They're just being foolish. It's not that they're being bad or anything. It's just that they're being, they're being a little sort of you know what it is defensive. It's defensive because people get, they're like, well, I'm not going to become a millionaire. I don't know. I'm not, that's silly. That's a silly thing to want to be. No, it's not at all. It's never been silly when somebody is able to do that, they often have a really good story. There are some people that just luck into it, as I said before, but even that's a good story. My God, how did that happen? That was a lucky stroke of, but other people have like long stories of getting there and achieving it, and the decisions they made along the way. So this reading, if you're following your heart, and you're doing what you really love, then you're bound to have some really good stories to tell people down the road about how you did it. Encouragement is always what you seek for in the tarot. We're all looking for some kind of encouragement, even a tarot reader. And, even when you're reading for someone else, everyone is looking for what makes life better. And that's what the tarot is. That's what it does. It gives to us all very, very effectively. Meteor Fox, welcome. We were just doing a reading for Kayali, and I was just talking about sort of this general idea of when people have goals and how tarot is always trying to find the support for a person. The tarot is never trying to prevent or weaken a person. It's a human tool for the improvement of mental well-being, for inspiration, and just for like how we think of ourselves and how we approach all of our problems and doubts and confusions. The tarot is always trying to sort of lift lift you in the world. It's always, that's why the last of the major cards is the 21 card is called the world. It's trying to bring a person higher and bring them to their actual real self, which, as the Buddhists know, when you approach your real true self, which they also say doesn't even exist, but when you approach your actual self of non-existence, you're very, very much close to actual reality in the present moment. Very similar idea to the 21 world card in tarot. It's the same idea where you're getting right there to the actual awareness of what reality feels like. No, that's a very good question, Kayala. So here's the thing about tarot. You never do more than one. Because as I said before, you're dealing with that sort of wide universe of trillions and trillions of number possibilities. And so it's that moment in time of that one moment when you asked the question. And it can never be repeated. So that moment when you ask the question and you are given that answer is the diamond. Any attempt to reproduce it is totally something else. You see what I mean? It's that first expression of the diamond, which exists as a pure moment out of billions and trillions of possible moments in the universe. And those cards that you got and the words that came out of the reader's mouth, all of that is part of that one little diamond in time. And it cannot be tampered with or reproduced. That's the magic of tarot. So basically, it's a moment that you say, there's the diamond. The diamond has crystallized and formed out of nothing right there on top of the stone mantle. And I either accept it for what it is, or I say, oh, great oracle, can I have another one instead? You see what I'm saying? And the oracle goes, what? That's the thing. And so your question's very good because that's a very natural question to ask about tarot. But that's the answer. My answer, other people express the answer. I sometimes find other people's answers about that a little bit dry. They can be a little businesslike in their answer there, but I think that tarot, you really have to recognize that in the realm of tarot, you're talking about a kind of I know it sounds silly. You're dealing with kind of a magical, spiritual, but it's nothing more like the Buddhists. Buddhists say that when you're born, you find your parents. Okay, your soul is, because they believe in an endless cycle of rebirth. You die and you actually don't really die. You just go back into the system, sort of, and you come back out after some time through two new parents, and your soul is reborn. Okay, but they said that to find those two parents for your next birth is the equivalent of throwing yourself to the bottom of any ocean on the earth and just blindly swimming upward through the dark water and just accidentally coming up with your head through the hole of one tiny little round life preserver floating on the surface of the ocean. That is basically the odds of you being born to those parents. I just thought that was like a kind of a nice way of putting it. So that's a similar thing where they're expressing the magical mathematics of the universe, and tarot is very much like that. The odds of getting this one thing out of the tarot deck in this moment are so fantastically unlikely that you just kind of have to go, that's my diamond. That's what it gave me. You're very welcome, Kayali. Yeah, tarot is, gosh, I never stop being kind of, I mean, it's just, it always amazes me. It's like, and sometimes the cards that come out. Hey, Meteor, you're intrigued. Okay. Oh, I see. I see you're in the. You just popped up in the queue. All right, Kayali. I hope you do exactly what your goal is and enjoy every step of it. And Meteor, you are now up, and I'm going to start shuffling this magical deck all over again. Doing my poker style shuffle. Sometimes I mess it up and the cards just go whoop all over. Poker style. All right, so Meteor, you can just, let me know what you're thinking, what kind of a question you have, and I'll just keep shuffling. And when you're ready, just let me know what it is. Well, you don't have to know. You can do just a sort of a general. You can just basically say anything like, just give me a sort of impression that I can kind of keep in my back pocket for the next week or something. Stuff like that works. If you want. Okay. A general impression, yes. Okay. And as I did with Kayali, but just a few minutes ago, I'm going to cut the deck a few times, and then I will pull 3 cards off the top. General impression coming up. Just basically, it's just going to say, here's stuff to sort of keep in mind. That's all. All right. Okay. You got 2 major cards that have come up and a court card. So it's basically, the reading is kind of, it's saying, okay, this is a reading that kind of has weight and impression that'll last a little bit longer, that'll kind of take a little longer to sort of work through. And that it has to do with sort of deeper personality traits and fundamental sort of building blocks of yourself. First of all, on the left, we have our court card, and it's a page, the Page of Cups. Again, the heart. And the page is young and enthusiastic and wants to know more about everything. But in this particular moment, the page wants to know more about the heart, about feeling. What is it that he really wants, or she? What do they want? What do they actually feel best about? What do they actually love? Who do they love? They're wondering, they're searching, but you see, they've got the lid off the cup. They've opened it up. They're making the effort. They're examining. They're willing to go in deeper. And that's what's great about the page. The page says, I'm kind of an idiot right now, but I know that I need to absorb and learn and experience before I can actually, really call myself any particular thing. That's what the page does. The page is young, and in the medieval times they would hand the knight their sword, and they would get the saddle and put it on the horse for the knight. They were kind of like the apprentice. They're learning. They're not yet ready to get up on a horse themselves. So this understanding of your heart and what you feel is a thing that you have probably been kind of good at and have kind of wanted to do all along, but maybe haven't felt like you've quite gotten there, or you sometimes have trouble accessing your true feelings about things. But that doesn't stop you. Okay? So you've got this kind of in you, and you're actually growing past it. You're at a moment now where you're ready to kind of leave the page behind, because he's on the left here. So he kind of starts to move over like this, which indicates you're growing past that stage of doubt and youthful sort of naive behavior or feeling. Now, the next thing here is a much more central issue, which is the Empress. The Empress is all about how a person enhances everything around her, and she creates abundance, and she nurtures, and she creates comfort and safety, and she enhances creativity. She's like she's out in nature, and she is able to make, she's like the old Snow White movie from Disney, where all the animals surround her and they're all like, oh, and they're all looking at her, and the trees grow better around her. And that's what she inspires. Now, this is reversed, however. So what it's doing is it's saying, okay, you're ready to move from the page, and the tarot is recognizing that you have this in you. Not only do you have this Empress in you, this nurturing power. The Empress represents power. Otherwise, she wouldn't be an empress. She'd be something else. An empress is a ruler. She wears a crown. That means she has authority. She has the ability to sway the world, to create outcomes. But she does it in a very healthy, nurturing way. Now, what the tarot is saying here is you have this. You will be this. It's just that you're so close to the page still that it's going to take time. You're not there yet. You're not at the Empress yet, but don't worry, it's coming. Okay? It's reversed, and it's also the reversal is to warn you to make sure that you don't go for a more rigid, that your enthusiasm that you have as the page learning and trying to experience what your true feelings are, that you don't let that die out and flatten because of the hardships of life that everyone encounters, that you let those feelings continue to grow so that you don't end up being a reverse empress that does not understand how to be supportive and nurturing and bountiful. The Empress is bountiful, like fruits and vegetables, that kind of and those are a metaphor for creative energies, for work, for family, for home. All of that energy and growth is represented by the Empress. And so the tarot is saying, look, you've got all this in you, just don't lose sight of it. That's why the reversal is there, because the reading, for some reason, wants you to know that there is the possibility you could forget that you have this. Now, the next thing it's suggesting is La Papesse, the High Priestess. She's the second card in the tarot. She follows the Magician and the Fool. She has a book in her hand, if you can see here. And most cards show some sort of a writing thing, a tablet, some sort of paper or book, like this one does. But what she is one's ability to access the unknown parts of yourself, the unconscious, the dream life, inspiration, the ability to find the poetry in the world, in yourself, to bring those unknown, very hard to see elements from deep inside and bring them up, out, and put them into expression, put them into words. The High Priestess is very much associated with writers and poets and people, a song, music, anyone, psychology, psychiatry. She's able to access unconscious motivations and drives and the unconscious will that you're not aware of in your waking moments. It's very hidden. It's very hard to remember many dreams, but she is the one that can go in and pull those things up and present them to you in a way where you can actually use them to improve yourself. And so what the cards are saying is, if you keep all this in mind, your growth from page and learning and finding your heart, you're not forgetting that you have this ability to create abundance and to do it in a very sort of respectful. People respect you. They respect how you do this. And to keep that in your mind as a power you need to not forget. And that one of the primary results of this effort to be abundant and nurturing and fertile in a gentle way will lead you to increase this power you have to access things that are hidden to most people. And to keep this in mind, because this is also a major card, which also means is a very powerful, deep part of yourself. And it's saying that you can access not only that, but you can access the abundant sort of, let me turn the Empress right side up. But you see how she's in the seat of power, but she represents this idea of growth and growth in a healthy, natural way. Okay? So remember, there's a risk of losing track of that. Now, aside from being a goal to be able to access the unconscious, this card is also a tool. And that accessing the unconscious and dealing with motivations that have perhaps been hidden from you will, in fact, influence how you maintain this. This being a really incredible card that, I mean, this in combination with this, you see, the Empress is a more conscious expression of growth and creative energy, whereas the High Priestess is a very unconscious, more dreamlike approach to those things. The two of them, if you can manage to keep this from going upside down permanently, will be an enormously powerful personality. So, as a general, I mean, I think it has that little aspect of giving you a little sort of a warning here, because look, we all have little things that, well, they can be big things, big powerful things that are hard for us to necessarily always believe about ourselves. And that's all that means. Is that's what the tarot is saying, is that don't lose that. Don't lose that belief. Keep it, you know what I mean? Don't doubt yourself. Basically, don't doubt that you can be this Empress. And look, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. The Empress, it doesn't mean, oh, you have to be a woman or a man. It's the force that it represents, the energy it represents, not whether or not you're, female or male and want to be an empress or an emperor. That's totally irrelevant. Just keep that in mind. Okay, Ali, you came back. You came back into the queue. I hope that gives you something meatier to ponder. Let me take a drink of this. All right. Okay, Ali. You're going to ask exactly the same question, are you? Oh, you want a general? Okay, I see. Yes, of course. Let's do a general. All right, a general. Yeah, I like generals. I often just give myself a general, like at the start of a week. I'll just do a quick 3-card general for myself, like when I'm having breakfast or something. Just like, okay, I'll just keep this in mind for the next few days, I see you went to another stream. Okay. You're kind of funny, Kayali. You're kind of making me laugh. Wouldn't it be funny if you went to another stream and asked, and you got exactly the same cards? Wouldn't that be freaky? That would be crazy. That would be almost impossible. I mean, the odds, though, with the tarot, see, with my astronomical number about the 78 cards, that's when you organize 78 cards. But the math is different for pulling 3 cards out of a deck of 78. Those numbers are much smaller. It's still large, but the numbers are not anywhere near 78 factorial. Okay. So you could get the same 3 cards from 2 different people, but the odds would probably be like 1 in like millions or hundreds of thousands. So it'd be really unlikely, but it could happen. All right, let's take 3 cards for this general sort of idea. Aha. Okay. You have 2 number cards, one on each side of a court card. Court card is a little longer term, but again, you know, it's hitting on thinking. It's a sword again. King of Swords in the middle. All right. On the left, 6 wands. The fire. The instinctive drive to make, to do, to create, to build, to be something. The drive, the passion, the drive that you want to be near someone, you know, the passion to be with someone. It's a little distinct from the feelings in the heart, the love for someone. It's the drive to be with them, to grab them, to hold their hand, you know, to feel the texture of the jacket they're wearing, you know, those instincts are all wound up in the wands. Fire element, the heat in life is represented by this. And the 6, okay, 6 is the number kind of the party. It's kind of, you're sharing and you're happy about it. You've succeeded. You've done something really great. You're dancing in the house and people are having fun out in the yard, and the other houses, neighbors start coming over and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is great. And you're like saying, oh, you know, go grab drinks and go to the barbecue and you're go dance, you know, and you're like, everybody's like having a great time. They're walking around. It's the 6 is that. It's that ability to take success and share it around and enjoy all of this beauty and good times and to revel. That's what the 6 does. And it has this idea of, what is it? Kind of, there's a balance to it. It has like it makes everybody feel good and supported. It makes them feel safe. Everybody's in a safe place with the 6. There's no tension in the 6. You want everybody to have a good time. And this is, you're creative. The wands are saying, you know, this is all about your ability to come in and say, here's what we're doing. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to make this. We're going to make that. And everybody is all enthusiastic just because you said it. Just because it's your idea. They all want to participate. They all want to be part of this. This is a power that the tarot reading here wants you to remember, wants you to be in touch with. And it's on the left, so it means acknowledge it and then don't worry about it. we'll move forward. We'll come over. We'll leave that for now because you've got that. You've got the ability to influence the world around you this way and make people happy. Make yourself happy and make other people happy. That's in you. That's in your creative spirit. All your passions tend to kind of lean toward bringing people together, ultimately. And just remember that you have that. Let it be reawakened if it's been asleep for a while, but it's there. And now you come to a major central aspect of this whole general question, the general reading, something to keep in mind. The King of Swords. Maintain your focus on keeping that mental energy, that ability that we already said in another reading you have to resolve and solve, to work things out, to win conflicts, to master your own ideas and to get things done, to figure them out. Anything that hinders what you're doing, you can solve. And not only are you solving it here, but you're actually accessing that feeling of power, control. The king with his ability to remain calm and to deal with things with great skill and precision with experience and apply all of his experience. But at the same time, he has authority, which people have to respect. Don't have to be a man. It's the force that counts. And the tarot is saying, get to that. Remember that. That's central. Keep it in mind because this general reading is also going to play. It's going to influence your other reading now, because since we're doing it, so it's saying, keep that goal in mind. This king with his incredible ability to use his mind and figure out his way from here to there is going to be an enormous strength for you. Now, on the right, you have a reversal, the Ace of Coins. Coins are very solid material things. They're money. They are, the things that you require. It's receptive also. It's earth symbol, earth element. And what the tarot is saying is, be careful. Material circumstances could play a role coming up. Your fundamental material circumstances. However, this isn't a big deal because it's a number card. It's not going to be something you have to worry about for long. It's saying worry about it in the short term, like in the next week or something. There are certain material things you have to take care of that are a little bit hindering you, perhaps. They could be job related. They could be just financial, but they just need to be taken care of in a responsible way so that this card doesn't stay in your way of solving all the problems that you need to solve and your mental capacity to access to get to your ultimate goal. That's in general what it's saying. It's really a pretty simple, straightforward result. And I hope it helps and plays into your ultimate overall goal. Hold on, I have popcorn down here. Hang on. And Bone Lush, I see you. Hang on one sec. I made popcorn and kind of squirreled it away down. I get a little hungry. You're welcome, Callie. What I've gotten into is making popcorn and putting, I know it sounds weird, Mrs. Dash, those spices you can buy at the grocery store. They make a thing called lemon pepper or something. It's really good on popcorn. Okay. Oh man, that's good. Lemon pepper. Man. I think I could live on lemon pepper, just like spreading it all over everything. I even put lemon pepper in salads. Oh, and another trick I've discovered with salads is to squeeze lemon juice on the salad and then put like oil and vinegar on it. I know this is not a cooking stream. So, all right. All right. So, Bone Lush, let me get you selected from the queue. Okay. It should say in a second that you are up. Yep. Next up is Bone Lush 25. So, Bone Lush, just tell me what you want to consider here. Stability. All right. Well, now, first thing, of course, tarot. Tarot won't give you any specific financial advice. It won't tell you what to do or what to invest in or how to spend your money. But it gives insight that into how to kind of, it basically it'll to find ways to inspire you to get where you want to be going. And who doesn't want financial stability? That has got to be the one thing that anyone first wants, right? They do. I'm talking, of course you want to eat in the moment, and breathe, but you want financial stability so that you can continue to, have a roof over your head, right? It's just like the absolute fundamental. All right. I'm going to cut the deck a couple more times. All right, Bone Lush. Let's have a look. Okay. Wow, we got the Ace of Pentacles again in the exact same spot, and it's reversed. Okay. We've got a major, we've got a court, we've got a number. The major's the Hangman. He's reversed. What this indicates is a tendency, perhaps, to not want to give things enough time. The Hangman is a person who takes a very meditative point of view on life and its problems and says sometimes effort is not required. Sometimes what's required is slowing down, easing up, emptying out the mind, and allowing oneself to sit quietly. You don't have to literally hang by one foot, but to sit quietly and sort of let yourself free from feeling like you have to do things in a certain way, or that you have to get things done on a certain time scale. Dropping pressures, dropping And these pressures are self-applied. These are the pressures it's talking about that aren't external financial pressures or job pressures. They are the pressures you put on yourself to get past things or to achieve things. The things that make you want to compete with other people. The hangman isn't competing or comparing to anyone else. The hanged man or hanged woman is content fully with their self and their current state. And they're willing to wait. They're willing to wait until they know they are ready. And it's harder than you would think. That's why they show a guy hanging, by 1 foot. But hanging like that is, the implication is, we know this isn't easy to do. I mean, if they were going to show something easy, they'd just show a guy lying on a couch with his head hanging off the pillow or something. And they don't. This takes effort to get to this place. That's why, if you're a monk and you're meditating and you're trying to empty your mind of all of the raging waters of feeling and distraction, it's not easy. And so the tarot is basically saying, this is not something you can't do. This is something perfectly within your capabilities right now, and you can do it and have done it, and you don't have to worry about it so much anymore because it's on the left here. So it's something to remember that you can do and keep in mind, okay? And it may be important for achieving your stability, the ability to wait. I mean, people wait in financial matters all the time. You see that in stock things where people are like, no, don't do anything. Just hold on to everything. You see that. Sometimes rushing, and it's not just financial, it's any decision making. Making quick decisions is sometimes not wise. So keep in mind the hanged man and his ability to let the moment arrive, not to push it. And then you have a knight shows up in the material, the coins, again, material. So we've got two material coin here working here together. The knight basically says, all right, I'm out there. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it now. Boom, boom, boom. I've waited long enough. The hangman, sorry, bud, you're not hanging anymore. It's time. The time has, in fact, arrived. I have gone out the door. I have jumped in the car, and I'm out here, and I'm wheeling and dealing, and boom, 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 boom. I'm doing what it takes to make the money. That's what the knight is saying. And it's central. It's saying, do the work. Take action, action, action. Do the thing. Don't do them foolishly. The knight's not stupid. The knight doesn't do things without any consideration at all. If there were a warning about that here, the knight would be upside down. But the knight's not upside down. That means the knight is out there acting skillfully. So the card is saying, when you act with all of your skills that you know you possess, all your learning that you've learned to do, everything that you know you have, all the capabilities that you have accumulated up to now, they can be put to use and be highly effective. That's why it's a knight. Okay, so the time for waiting, you'll know it when it's over. Just don't forget that you often have to do it again. That's why it's showing up here in the reading. Don't dismiss it ever, but be ready to take swift but cautious and informed action. And you'll know what actions are appropriate at that time because it's your work, it's your training, it's your experience. You'll know. Now over here, you've got the reversal of the same coins, and it's sort of infinite possibility here. And it's saying, this is going to be tricky and difficult. There are obstacles. There are resistances you're going to run up against. Your knight is going to have to continue to work. There's a more extended effort than you might have thought. However, the obstacles are relatively minor. It's just a number card. This is a court card. That means this card has power to overcome these obstacles rather easily. Court card will always be able to handle any issues presented by a reversal here. But this is just saying, and this advice here is really nothing that we wouldn't tell pretty much anyone about financial stability. It's hard. It can be really hard, and you have to put the effort in. So you're going to run up against road bumps and potholes in this effort, but that's fine because the knight here is completely empowered and skilled and will be able to handle those as long as he remembers that there are times when the knight has to put the horse in the stable and wait and make decisions based upon real consideration and analysis before making any movements. And so there you have a sort of an angle on how the tarot perceives this. You're very welcome, Bonelish. Are these candles still burning? Oh, I just blew it out. That was smart. Hang on. That's what I get for looking at the candle. I just blew it out by talking. Is that? Oh, Kayali, you're back with another question. You're asking a question now, huh? So you are now asking ... You're asking ... Well, was that from before? What do you mean a tip? You mean like advice for something to actually do? Well, I think your general reading is the advice. I think that might be a little duplicative of the general. I'm not sure I would do that. The general, I think, gave you, that King of Swords in the middle. You want to ask in love? Okay. All right. Okay. So what do you mean about love? What do you mean? I mean, what are you? You mean sort of a general perspective on love, just basic, just a sort of general point of view on love over the next short while. Yes, I think you're going to get a girl, blonde, super. I think definitely so. Yes. Okay, general kind of love. Oh boy. All right. All right. Two more cuts of this magnificent tarot deck. And then we'll pull 3 off the top. And we will see what hidden messages should arise. All right. Well, well. Okay. 1 court card, 2 number cards. 5 of Wands, creative passion here. This is in the intensity of passion. And this is a 5, it's reversed. And 5 is all about being sort of surprised by a brand new thing, something like, could be a person that has entered the picture, but it's reversed. So it means like there's kind of a resistance to something new. There's kind of like nothing new really surprising you or unsettling you, and you kind of maybe want that. So the card is basically saying it's a little bit, there's a little resistance. Maybe there's a little too much caution going on. And it's time to maybe expose yourself to some more opportunities and let them kind of, as sort of nervous as you might be about that, or as maybe as you might think you're not ready or a little uncomfortable, a little shy maybe, but it's saying, be careful of closing yourself off to totally unexpected directions in the area of love. Okay? And then it's saying, okay, now coming up right here keep in mind, here we have the heart popping in again, major heart stuff, 10. That indicates you've done something, you've gotten somewhere and made a big step. You've succeeded in something, you've completed something. In other words, you've this could represent being really in love. It's 10, it's the end of a cycle, but it also means the next step is coming. And you have to get ready. You have to enjoy the success at getting somewhere. This is a lot of love right here. This is an entire restaurant full of overflowing glasses full of champagne and everybody celebrating a marriage or something, something deeply emotional to do with the heart. That's what that is. And it's right here in the middle of the whole thing. And it continues into the page. Again, the page shows up with the cup. This is becoming so crazily consistent now. Here's the page showing up again, looking into a cup, which means he wants to know more about this love. He wants to explore it, and he knows he's not yet capable of even being a quarter of what he could be in a relationship. That he's got so much to learn, but he's willing to do it. And he's so happy about it because he's got all of this love happening. It's a celebratory sort of a feeling, having completed, gotten somewhere, achieved. You know, if the goal is to find a relationship, to find a girl, a woman, this 10 indicates that happens, and it's a great moment, and it's worthy of celebration. And this young, enthusiastic person here now is like, okay, I want to explore the depths of this. I want to see where this relationship goes and find more and more in it. I'm not just enjoying it for the sake of it itself. It's not going to be a shallow relationship. It's going to be a big relationship that you'll learn a lot from. That's what's happening. You just have to remember to open yourself up. Don't shut down like this card is warning you about. Don't shy away from the opportunities, even if it's an opportunity you don't think makes any sense at first. And then success and further exploration and a lot of learning about relationships happens. That's amore, right? That's amore. Yep. Yep. Well, I think I'm going to wind it down here at this juncture, probably. You're very welcome again. Very good sort of set of readings. I have to wind it down, Kayali. I gotta get running. But I'm also I have a podcast out that's begun. It's on Apple Podcasts, and it's just started. So the other podcast services will be like slowly picking it up. How how they do these things automatically and stuff. But there's a podcast. It's called Lucky Fortune Tarot. It's going to be really fun to continue doing that. But I kind of feel like doing this live tarot stream and doing the podcast, which is all just audio, is like a really thorough way to approach tarot, I think. It'll be really an interesting sort of way to express ideas and kind of learn as I go. All right, I'm going to wind it down because I'm actually more hungry now than I was before I ate my popcorn. So it's been a total pleasure, and I hope everyone does quite well and keeps all these wonderful tarot ideas in mind. You're welcome. The best for you. I'll talk later. Come back. I'll do this again tomorrow. And I'll do it again tomorrow right around the same time. So it's really fun. I really, really enjoy it. I'll probably be able to stay on longer tomorrow anyway. All right. Have an excellent day tomorrow and a great rest of the week.